movement. We're here in Shasta County, California. Shasta is setting the stage for what is possible in California for election transparency and election reform. Excellent. Here we go. Let me push this way. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. We are in Shasta, and I am so excited to be here with you all right now. Let me get this all set up to go. Hang on one second. We're catching all the pieces together. All right, so I'm going to enter back in. So we are here in Shasta getting ready for a very special event. Clint Curtis, the ROV of Shasta, and his teams have opened up the doors for all of us, which the doors are open because they're transparent, have opened up the doors for all of us to be part of a very special day of seeing what's possible. These are the guys that have gone to paper ballot, voter ID, paper ballot. They are awesome. So paper ballot, paper ballot, paper ballot. President Trump is saying one day voting, paper ballot, right? That's the way to do it. So there's a process to stay within the law of California, and we'll talk through that today. But let's go inside. Let's get a little sense of what's happening in little old Shasta, the tip of the spear. Stand by. All right, let's get our walkthrough in. Well, thank you so much.
Welcome.
All right, we are live. Good morning, Leslie.
Good morning.
We have a big day ahead of us. Are you excited?
We do. It's going to be fun.
Come on. Got all our candidates. Hello, gentlemen. David Collenberg, want to say hello for a quick second? Good morning. Good morning. Are you ready to see what's possible in the state of California?
I'm always ready. Got my boots on. So.
We were hoping David would bring his tractor.
I would have if I had gotten home sooner, and I had animals to tend to.
You're all good. You're all good. It's good to see you, and I'm so glad that you're here.
Thank
It's
you.
time to take California back, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
County to county.
County to county. All right. Clint Curtis, good morning. We are ready to go. You're live right now. Why don't you say hello for a second to This is America, taking a look at what Shasta County is doing. So this is Clint Curtis, the Registrar of Voter clerk here, that has set the precedence for what's possible. So before we begin, is there anything you want our listeners and viewers to know, Clint?
After you see this, if you like it, push it out. Tell everybody that this is what we need to go to. If we can do that before midterms, you may see a red California. It'll be amazing, huh?
So good. Thank you, Clint Curtis, and we're ready to start whenever you are.
Grab your folks.
All right. Everybody, let's gather together. We're going to get started. Hi, Patty. Going to come on in and get started. Lewis Herms, want to say hello to everybody?
Howdy, howdy.
We are live. Are you ready to take our California back?
Oh, we're on the way. We are on the way.
Come on.
I was conceived here in Shasta County, but I was raised in Sonoma County.
Good morning.
I like the bow tie.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Say good morning to our audience this morning.
Nice to meet you.
And
Fantastic.
Shasta Scout, which is one of our online journalists.
Cool.
And then Scott Shields.
Hello there.
Hi, Scott.
Nice to meet you. My pleasure.
There's one more over there. Colby Markham is also running for governor. So,
And I'm Kim. So good to meet you, Kim.
I told him who you were, but
So good. Let me give you my card. No, it's good. It's good. She's doing an amazing job. We love you, Les. Amazing. Stephanie. Hi, Steph. Hello. Welcome. We're so glad you guys are here. We're so excited to be here, huh? Here we go. We got press. Hi, I don't think I got to meet you. I'm Kim.
Hi, I'm Jeff Carr. Nice to
Jeff
meet you.
Carr. Great to meet you. Kim Yeater. Welcome. This is quite a very special day. I'm so excited to do this walkthrough. Wow, look at this. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is what's possible. So in the state of California, we have to have some type of machine to count the votes. So you're going to see the process of using a tabulator, but everything is viewed before and after. So Clint's going to guide us through that. All right. Let's grab that. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Shasta is amazing. We love Shasta. Yes. Come on. You guys are leading the charge for what's possible in this state.
No, this is my arm.
How are you doing? Good. Good. I'm ready to declare my candidacy for governor. Are you guys proud to do it? Are you going to be street?
5 more minutes. We have
Oops, another one.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you. Patty, so good to meet you.
I'm so happy to be here of all the places on the planet.
Of all the places, this is the place to be. I love it.
He's next. I mean, he's already in the works.
I didn't bring another camera.
No. You get to pay these silly fees.
What I'm gonna do is
We're good.
take it on wide angle.
That's my pick.
Being amazing that she sits through all these. Does that make something?
Doug, you want to take a moment?
Know how much work it is?
Doug, would you take a moment with us? So we are live.
Can you call the group to order?
Ah, yes, there we go.
We're ready to start.
Clerk Curtis is asking us to come to order.
Convene.
You ready to go?
He sure does.
Everybody come on in, come on in.
Baritone. Baritone.
All right, we're all moving into the next room.
I think we should get back to you, Kim, leading us.
The Pied Piper.
Come on, come on.
It's okay, it's just the candidate, guys. Okay. Everybody needs one of those.
Yeah, you're good.
There we go.
You got to squeeze in here. I thought this was a big room. It's not that big anymore.
Let's skip by you guys. Definitely. Yeah, come on.
Which way are we facing? You're saying here, we're in here?
You're ready for governor. You can say what you want to.
Fair enough. Is this the main camera? I'll just be like this.
Yes, it is. It is definitely one of the main cameras. There we go.
Well, I was just going to take some pictures.
Any observation?
Are you sure?
Any citizen can come in and actually watch everything that's going on. The cameras show exactly what's going on over there, plus you know you're only 10 feet away anyway. If you want to be closer, the observation area is also that stool area right there where you can sit right behind the person doing the information.
Any citizen can sit in those stools?
Yes. Okay, so right behind them. So as they're doing it, you know, I mean, don't like dip their pigtails in the ink thing or anything, but you know, just behave yourself. You can sit there, everything is good.
Is that a new thing? Because I was here observing on election night and no one was allowed back there without an escort.
No, they're allowed back there for the observers.
But there was no one sitting, and I don't even
Well,
believe those stools
they
were
couldn't
there.
sit back there, but the stools
Well,
were there.
we were
So were
told,
they?
we
Were
were
those
told
stools
at the
there
time.
on election night?
Yes, we had like 4 people use them for the whole night. Because they're not nearly as comfortable as these.
Correct.
But,
Yeah.
so they sit there, they can watch everything. So we set this up. They used to try and keep the observers away. A lot of counties do that. They put them behind walls and glass, and you know, this was a fence with spikes on it, but if you're behind glass, it's the same as a spiked wall too. So you're not going to see anything, you're not going to hear anything. That's the opposite of what we need to do. We need to embrace the public and let them watch what's going on. Because then they understand that it's valid, because they can see it. If you hide the ball, they'll assume the worst. Even if you're not doing anything wrong, they'll assume the worst. So we have all of these will all be set up. Right now you're just seeing the video of what actually was one of the ones we did. And what happens is you count your batches, which we'll get into out there. You go to the second stage and then you go to the third stage. So that just shows what's going on and how you would see it live if you're using all of the systems. So come on around, we'll go to the actual room.
not Patriots.
A big problem with elections is chain of custody. Chain of custody and make it happen.
What is chain of custody?
Chain of custody is making sure that the ballot is always locked, sealed, and observable. If you looked in the room at the ones on the wall, you could see all of our ballots from 4 different camera angles, 24 hours a day. So no one can sneak in and do anything. Before I got here, they actually had a wall with blue bins. They put the ballots in, they didn't see them, they just left them in a room, and then not a good chain of custody. And that allows you to stuff ballots. So that's something you don't want to do. The RV, of course, is the worst possible person to actually be able to do everything. So you've got to make sure that you keep an eye on him and that, because he has access to everything, including me. We'll talk about it later. So everything that happens here, this goes through, it sorts the machines, it captures the signatures, so they can be verified, pre-mail-in. Then they go in these boxes and they're all sealed up with these actual physical seals, these guys, so that they cannot be bothered. On these, we use 4 of them. When we write them down, we log everything. That way, nothing can move before it does it. If a single ballot has to go into this, it has to be logged, it has to be recorded, everything has to be typed. And all of our stuff is available to the public. We're not going to fight them for anything. We want them to know. Once our signatures are approved, they go back into those. Those are the precinct ballots. And then they stay in those. Now, if you go to a one-day voting, all this goes away, by the way, because then you don't need to do signature verification. You don't need to store it. You don't need to do it. It all comes in at one time. Much better system. We'll see what happens, right? Depends on how the executive order goes. Yes, sir.
Are you processing mail-in ballots and in-person voting ballots in the same bins?
No. The mail-ins go here.
Okay.
The in-person never go in bins.
Okay.
Because they're already validated.
Okay.
The whole purpose of these bins is to go through the stages of your validation. So here you're just throwing them in precincts. You don't know if they're valid yet. After their signature verified, that's when you take them out and you put them where they need to go. And then that's over there.
What percentage of the votes were mail-in?
85. Some counties in California, it's 90%.
Yeah.
And in some of our precincts, we have mail-only precincts because the precincts have such a small number of voters that we do them all by mail. So because there's really no way to put a precinct. We have 6 voters and 4 of them for one house. I guess that could be the precinct, and the other 2 guys have to go over there. But that's the way it's done. So go through all that, and then when it's all said and done, then the envelope gets separated from the ballot. That's when they go into stacks. And our procedure is you go through and you put them in stacks of 50, and you mark down what precinct they're in, and you give them identifying numbers so when they're on cameras, you can actually match that total to what the machine said. Because most people want to go to hand count, but we're not there. So what this allows to do is allows the citizens to hand count the results and compare them to the machines. So Mark Cook's working on a procedure right now to allow that to happen. We worked out the logistics, so it will work.
Excellent.
But you'll do it off the video, you won't do it off the paper.
I think you need to distinguish between tallying votes and counting ballots, right? Right here, you're not saying, Trump had a vote, Biden had a vote. You're not saying anything like that, right? At this point, you're just putting them into stacks of 50.
Right.
And you're verifying the signatures are good here. And once they're verified, then they go into stacks over there. But nobody's counted any votes yet.
Nobody counts anything.
It's only ballots at this point.
Correct.
Okay, good.
Correct. And they're still in envelopes at that point. So this is.
Oh, you haven't even taken them out of the envelopes yet?
No, everything stays in envelope.
Ah.
Then they go to those tables there, and that's where they're actually envelopes are open and they're stacked into stacks of 50 by looking at them, making sure that there's no identifying marks because that can't go in camera. So if they sign their name, that goes over to adjudication, which are people who come in and they actually will watch it happen so that they know that nothing nefarious is going on. So we try to get people from multiple parties, and they don't get paid anything. So it has to be good people who actually want to help. And then you helped, right?
I was here for adjudication, but what was interesting is that around midnight, when I had not been asked to come back to the adjudication station, you and I had a conversation with one of your employees, and the paid employee said, "Oh, we just went ahead and adjudicated without any public observers."
Right.
So there were public observers here, but they were never asked to actually stand behind the adjudication process. And evidently, that's not legally required that an outside observer be here.
It's not.
But that was a nice invitation.
Right.
But we sat in the observation room for the entire evening, and we were never asked to come back to do any observing of the adjudication.
Yes, the way they used to do it, observers didn't matter. They didn't want to share anything. They were just used to doing it that way. So that's my rule. We implement it because it needs to be in place. They should not be able to do it without adjudicators there. Legally, they can. Technically, they should not.
But the fact that you've added cameras as well, even if the observers happen to step out for a potty break, they could come back later and watch the video, yes?
No, not at the adjudication.
Not adjudication.
The adjudication station was here. There's no camera except if you get that fisheye in the corner.
And that's because you're protecting the anonymity of the ballot during adjudication. Got
Because
it.
something has happened, and
Right.
most times it was where someone marked a ballot and then they didn't want it, so they put an X to it, say not this one, and then they marked something else. So all of our adjudications were pretty straightforward, but it was a fairly easy election. So
Clint, let me just clarify real quick. So based on what this gentleman went through, you said that was a mistake of your employee, and in future that's not going to be an issue.
right.
Awesome.
Yeah, they'll be better next time.
So it won't
We
be on
discussed
camera.
it.
The adjudication won't be on camera necessarily because you're protecting identities.
Right.
But it will never happen without observers.
Correct. And they can always come back and look at the adjudicated ballots. They can just, ask for them. We can
Yes.
have them go through. That would be something the public could do anyway.
Yes.
Because even though we let them do the hand count, they're not going to see that small stack of adjudicated ballots, which I think ours were like, was it 90 or something like that?
90
As
total.
you said, it was a very simple.
So a very
election,
small
and
number,
There were
anyway.
two items
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
some
on that one night
precincts.
was 2 items.
Yeah.
But even still, 2 items. We had people here, adjudicators should have been back there watching it. So,
And you invited members from all the parties.
yes. Yes.
Green Party,
Green.
Republican, Democrat.
Right. We had 1 Green, 3 or 4 Democrats, only 1 Republican. So, but we'll kick them
Would you
harder
do the
next time.
same for an NPP?
Was that?
So when you had no party whatsoever, like
They
it
can
doesn't
definitely
matter.
come back and be adjudicators.
Excellent.
We didn't have any though.
Good.
So.
But it's
hard to
open to
contact.
everyone.
That's open to everyone.
They'd have to,
Exactly.
they'd have to self-identify.
So
We
Clint,
want people to see everything. They deserve to see everything. This is their elections. We're just running it for them.
Yeah.
The citizens own these.
so Clint, can you just tell me why we're here today? Why is it so important that we are going through this process?
We are going through this process so that we can push this information down to the other counties and across the nation so that they can have a system, an interim system, that allows them to know that their election is counted correctly and actually view it themselves. So, it'd be tough to count LA County by yourself, but you could definitely count your precinct by yourself. And if you're really dedicated, you can count LA County by yourself, but that takes a little work.
Love it. So election transparency and election reform.
Cortex, before you leave that point, that's a really important point. What you're showing us today is not general practice in California.
Right.
You're like at the spearhead here. You're spearheading election integrity in the state, and you're showing other counties how to do this. Now, when you first started implementing this, my understanding is the state was not happy, and they sent people up here to check on the legality. So it's really important to point out that everything you're doing is perfectly legal. It's already been checked. So if you're in a county in California and you love what you see, which I don't see why you wouldn't, you can implement this totally legally in your own county. Who gets to make that choice?
The ROV is usually in charge of all the choices. It's usually discretion. You have to follow a lot of state rules regarding, the voter rolls and things like that. But when it comes to most of the day-to-day business solutions, that is up to the ROV. So the ROV can make those decisions.
For those watching that don't know what ROV is,
Oh, register of voters. For the people not in California, it'd be supervisor of election. Why they have it different here?
Every state has different names.
It's California, right? Okay. Once you have them in batches, come over here.
I don't care. Tell me what to do. You want me to sit in this
Oh,
chair?
I love
Sit in
it.
that chair.
Okay.
They've been taken out of their envelopes by now, right?
Actually, they are out of their envelopes and they are in these plastic sealed bags with the information of what you're watching on the front of it.
I
need
think
somebody to do a
Eric had a
second count.
question over here too.
I was just curious, I mean, obviously this is a county operation. How much interest do you get from other counties?
Lots.
Good.
We have a lot of people interested, but now they just have to
What kind of follow-up?
Implement.
That's
actually
what I was
take the step.
That's what's so exciting about the fact that the gubernatorial candidates are interested in this, because they're going around the state of California saying, hey guys, we have a chance to have a clean election. Let's have one.
We need more supervisorial candidates involved in this as well.
Yeah, definitely. Good supervisor candidate. Don't leave him out.
Sorry, my brother.
That's okay.
How about the legislature?
So, what happens here is on this cart, there are the ballots.
From those bins over there.
The bags of ballots. Well, they're already bagged up in stacks of 50.
Gotcha.
Person, this is the pitcher catcher. They pitch it and they catch it. So, this person takes a bag, hands it to the person. They don't give them a bag unless they don't have anything in their hands. If they're still counting, nothing gets stacked up. Because stacked up is bad, right? You want that flow to be perfect. And everything's on camera there and there and there and there. So there's cameras everywhere. So smile.
How much did it cost you to do all that?
Well, the cameras are already here, up there. These are pretty cheap. To implement this, you will have maybe $200 per station. That's all you'll have in the whole thing.
Wow.
And then you can live stream it, and you can record it and send it out to your citizens so they can do a hand count themselves.
So if a citizen says to their ROV in their county, I saw what Clint's doing up there in Shasta County, can we do that here, please? And the ROV says, well, it's too expensive. No, it's not that expensive. This is very inexpensive what you've done.
Dirt cheap.
Dirt cheap, okay, good.
Dirt cheap.
Okay.
You know, they'll spend more than that on stamps, probably.
Okay.
What's a fair election worth?
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, and then point out that the cameras were here, the recording was not. They didn't record anything, which does you no good because you can't evaluate what happened.
These are recorded.
Right, previously, that's what I'm saying.
Previously, yeah.
Previously they were recorded.
You said the cameras were here, I was pointing out, yes, but the recording was not. They didn't record anything.
So sort of the fun thing about it is since there's a recording, if a citizen themselves wanted to do their own recount, they could.
They can.
They could check to see if this county counted it properly. They could themselves. It might be tedious, but they could.
And they can do it batch by batch, which makes it less tedious because let's say you're running and a particular precinct looks funny, you know.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of funny looking precincts sometimes. And so you want to check that precinct, you can actually go to the film and actually check precinct by precinct and hand it in. Now, we also have a little clock there so that you can actually tell us if something is wrong, you know, if it counted wrong. And Santa Clara had a lot of issues with theirs where like every batch was missing things. Kind of odd, and some things were way off. If it hadn't been for a whistleblower, we probably wouldn't have known that. They said they fixed it, but I really don't know, and no one else does either. You know, we hope they fixed it.
May I ask which election that was?
That was this last one.
The special?
Yeah, Santa Clara. That was Dominion's old stuff. Now Liberty.
I'm so surprised.
Well, the good point is, it doesn't matter who you use if you check it before it ever touches it. So if you use Dominion and you check it and you catch them doing something that isn't right, you know.
I'm not trying to be a troublemaker here,
You are
but
a
you
troublemaker.
just brought attention to the fact that there's a clock, but I don't see it in the camera up here. Is that just because of what they're displaying right now, or because you're right? If I wanted to say, hey, you know, at this timestamp there was a problem, but I can't see it in the camera, so I don't know. Maybe that's a technical issue. Maybe you guys need to move the camera, or maybe it's just not being displayed. I don't know. I'm not trying to be a troublemaker here.
It should be.
You are a troublemaker.
Nope, it's the right one. It's just
There it is. There now I can see it.
Ah, there we go.
So maybe your
Maybe we got
technical
it too
guy
high.
needs to adjust the
Yeah, you need to
focus.
adjust that down a little.
Yeah.
Well, I think one of the other...
We can see your lap, but we don't get to see the camera.
That's right.
One of the observations I made is that you have
yes.
the person on the left
That's
counting out
better.
the 50 to verify there are 50.
Well, they don't actually verify them.
That's better.
They count them.
It was just in the
They go through them.
Okay.
Governor candidate Kobe Markham adjusted the camera.
Thank you, Kobe. Because there might be a short batch, because people don't vote in lots of 50.
Exactly.
So, okay. So whatever, our precinct may be only 15 or 20 people.
I guarantee you will not have 50 exact across everything.
So what was interesting to me, though, was that you could observe the person taking and showing each ballot there. Then they handed it to the center person,
right,
who then fed it in.
Right.
And then they had a clipboard and they recorded. I presume it was the cumulative number on the printer?
It's the new batch number.
The new batch number.
Because we have batch numbers based on what we think it is. But the machine doesn't listen to us.
Right.
It makes its own batch number. So we have to record that so that you can line the numbers back up. Okay. Otherwise you can't find it.
And then the person on the right counts again to show that if there were 16 from a small precinct here, then that person on the right shows the same 16.
That's not actually the reason.
What's interesting, though, is that the way that these feeders are and the displays, there's no verification for an observer that every vote was counted.
On this thing?
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah, so you see it counted out here, you see it counted out on the right, but there's no verification element to make sure that the feeder actually fed them and counted
and even if there was,
particular vote.
Can you trust it? Probably not.
Well,
and that's what I did before.
And that's why you count it yourself.
Yeah.
And that's why you compare it to what it said.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're looking for.
Do we want to hold most of the questions for the end so that the two of you can get through the presentation and keep us on track?
Okay, so this person counts through, and they don't actually count through, they just basically flip through all of the ballots. Front and back, you see everything. This is what the citizens can use to hand count and make sure that everything lines up, right? Now, we're still stuck using machines, but we don't care. If the machine makes an error, in fact, I'm so big it would make an error, right?
You catch it.
Yeah, I can catch it. So, and it made no errors, but it ran through this, did the count there. This is just the step where tabulation actually occurs. But this is the important step because this is where you counted initially. This is an important step because I was the programmer that actually wrote the prototype for the electronic voting machines, and in that prototype back in 2000 was language that allowed someone who knew what they're doing to flip the vote however they wanted to do. By race, you could just pick it and go, I want them to win. And it'd be 51-49.
So Clint, you wrote that code is what you just said.
I wrote that code, yes.
You testified before Congress, I remember. You can see that on YouTube.
Testified before Congress and said that's why you can't use these things. And they still use them and adopted it and made it harder and harder to check them. So
wow.
Initially we were using Diebold machines. It made logs, right? And the log files didn't match the actual results. And so people were screaming and yelling, so Diebold's response is, they don't make logs anymore.
Wow.
They just don't let you check it. And that's kind of what they do. So they push out observers, they lock you out of checking source code, they don't let you blueprint anything. So machines, even if the company is trustworthy, it doesn't mean it's not hacked by somebody else. And the only way to know that is to count it. And this you can count by hand. Now, once it goes in the machine, as a programmer, I can make it do anything, which means I can throw out different ballots than what you thought you put in there. Because I do the magic, right? So I can find the ballots I like, and I can make those ballots come out, and the other ones not. It's really simple to do. I'm a geek, but that's where we want to put it. So the major reason for this one is because this becomes an official record. This is your ballots if you have to pull them out and count them. So you want to make sure that this matches that. Because if this doesn't match that, I got funky in the machine.
This is just a scanner here, right? It puts the images of the ballots into a software program that does the tabulation, right?
Well, No, well, kind of, not really.
Kind of, not really.
No. It actually gives you the numbers of each batch of how it counted it, and then that goes over and the tabulator puts them together.
Yes.
So that's their response.
And that's why
It made a difference.
you were saying the machines no longer made logs. Guess what you just did? You just made a log.
Yes. An absolute log that could be used in court, so you better not mess that up. Right?
Excellent.
Yes, sir.
Would it be accurate to say that you could have volunteers who are operating in good faith, being good patriots, believing that they are acting in good faith in counting this, and somebody, a hacker, and who knows what country, could have modified something in a computer somewhere.
Absolutely.
And these people don't know that the election is being stolen right in front of them, and the volunteers are acting in good faith. These are honest patriots.
Right.
But
Absolutely.
some hacker on the back end is doing some dirty business.
Once you put it in this box, you don't know what's going to come out. Okay. And I don't know if the vendors know what's going to come out. It depends on who gets in there. If you look at, there's a Bloomberg article on China was hacking all of the motherboards. This was in DOD, this was over in the CIA. All these people had these computers with these motherboards in them. And nobody caught it, right? The only people who caught it was Amazon, because they were going to buy the company, and they were trying to be cheap, because they're not being counted are. And so they're looking through the specs, and they're going, what's this here? It's got an extra heat sink. Do I need that heat sink? Am I paying for this? You know, it's probably 2 pennies, you know. So they start looking at it, and it turns out that that was actually embedded in China on these motherboards, so that it was actually a full-fledged computer. It would run when it was unplugged, because it would run off the CMOS battery. Wow. It had its own networking, it had its own everything. And that was 15 years ago. So now that little piece of rice is probably a filament embedded in the actual motherboard electronics. Even harder to find. Wow. So in elections, it's important to not trust anything. Don't trust anything.
There's that many variabilities.
Yes. So
Exactly. And the technology exists where that could take place. Yeah. I think it only makes the argument stronger for hand counting.
right. And you hand count it here. You do the machine if you need to, and then you count it here. The only issue with hand counting is it takes a lot of people. So I helped convert the people in Germany back in 2006 to a hand count, and they use it ever since. But since you have to have a lot of people, and so what they do to get those people, because you don't get volunteers once they think everything's okay, they get lazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I had that problem here. We had
Human nature.
Yeah, we had 400 volunteers before I came here to do a hand count, and once I came here, it dropped down to more like 70.
Coffee and donuts only goes so far.
I trust him.
Everybody trusts the new ROV.
That's
so
a lot
it's
of
like,
work. I don't want them to trust me. I want them to check me, right?
Good.
So, because, you know, they may like me. I could get hit by a car tomorrow. How do they know the next one's going to be honest? You don't. Amen. So always check them. So, and even with all these safeguards, the ROV would have potential to play with the election. So that's why I took a polygraph, and we'll take one after each election that says, we did not touch this election, and we don't know of anyone who did, so that we box that in. Because there are a lot of ways I could play with this if I was dishonest.
So you've implemented this part of the system to make sure that the machines aren't tinkering.
Correct.
And that's great.
Or inaccurate. Just
Exactly. And it could just be mistakes. There's always mistakes, machines and things. But there's another aspect to it that I'm particularly interested in as I study elections across the country. When does this process take place? Does it take place weeks leading up to the election? Does it take place on election day? Does it take place? When does this process take place? And I know we've talked about this. This is very important.
Ideally, you would want to do all of this after the polls close on election day. That's when you do it. Now, we don't have enough processors or enough room to put them. You know, we need basically to do it, because I've introduced this before the board in order to try and get this all done so we can do everything on election day. But they didn't want to put the bill for that, so we didn't get it yet. We're still working on it.
And how much would that be?
$300,000.
So that you have safe elections?
For safe election.
Let's be more specific. $300,000 allows you to do all your counting after the polls close.
Yes.
And what you're telling us now is you would rather wait till the polls close to do any of this tabulation,
Yes.
but it's not feasible without a little bit more money.
Right. What we have to do now is we have to, when the mail-ins come in, we run the mail-in ballots first. Then we do the election.
Is that before Election Day?
Yes. Yes.
I don't like that.
I don't either. But I got no way around it yet.
Yeah.
So we run it. Now, no one in the office knows what those results are.
But the computer could be telling somebody.
The computer does know. Exactly. And that's the problem. If you could eliminate that problem, it would be a good thing to eliminate. We're not there yet. We're working on it. So
Step at a time.
Step at a time.
And it's just a piece, because it's dirty voter rolls, it's citizenship,
Right.
chain of custody, verification. This is a piece of a multi.
So in the
But
old
it's a
days,
huge piece. Mail-in ballots gotta go.
in the old days, the way they used to cheat elections is they would put observers in the parking lots, and they would watch people come in and keep track of who voted, and you could, okay, that's a Republican, that's a, you could kind of estimate how things were going, and then they would radio it in. Well, now you don't have to have observers in the parking lot because you got a machine.
You got a machine.
And it can be reporting in real time, and so they've made it easier to leak that information in advance. That's what I would like to close that door. I'd like to have everything opaque leading up until when the polls close, then everything could be transparent.
Right.
But you're saying that you're working towards that.
I'm working towards
But we're not quite there yet because
I'll
you
get
need
them
another
there.
$300,000.
Right. I'll get them there.
Baby steps.
Well, let me argue against you for a second.
Okay.
I liked his comment. So what? It's only money. Do we want secure elections or not? But how about this? Why does it have to be election night? If it took us a week to count the ballots afterwards, at least we'd have security and transparency. Why not? Why not just say we'll take a couple extra days because then we're for sure it's right? And I think it's because the people demand it that night, don't they?
Yeah.
They
People want it immediately.
and so people trade integrity for convenience and timeliness. And I think that's a really important point to make. I'd rather wait a week and have it free and fair and secure and transparent. But the public apparently doesn't tolerate
I
that.
think the public thinks if it's longer without this, it's being manipulated.
They don't trust it.
They don't trust it, yes.
So unless everybody has this,
Right.
then you have the psychological thing of most companies don't.
And it is easier on observers too, if you get to observe one day as opposed to have to sit here, you know.
Yeah, but it just needs the proper funding, and then you can have the manpower to achieve these goals.
Right.
It's not that complex. I mean, for all the money that we spend on the state on all these other issues, I mean, 300,000. That's the governor's salary, and that's all you need.
Are you donating this?
Well, you've
Something
got.
tells me if he's a
I will if you will.
He is
These
these are governor candidates. They're here for a reason.
This is why it's nice that the governor candidates are here because
Yes.
they are realizing this is a very feasible thing to do. We just have to have the will. Let's do it.
It was nice to know the information on like where the issues can come up. Having someone that understands that, because the public doesn't. But bringing this to light is so important.
So we're here today.
Well, remember, you're talking $300,000, but that's times 54.
54
I
what?
mean, still, that's
Oh,
a drop in the
county?
bucket.
County.
for the state.
Well,
A lot more because
LA's
the
gonna be a lot
counties
more
are large.
expensive
Oh,
Right, I'm averaging, yeah, you have your small counties and large.
We're talking the size of Shasta, but the size of Shasta is 300,000.
Right.
What's the size of LA? What's the size of San Diego?
But as opposed to.
They don't need 5 machines, they need 50.
So Clint, let's get to the elephant in the room. This machine is not a voter machine, so it's post-vote, correct? Is this connected to the internet?
Well, technically, no. Officially, you don't ever know.
Exactly, because it has the mechanisms within inside of it to be connected to the internet.
Well, you won't even know that. I just told you about the piece of rice that had
Right,
full connectivity.
exactly. And
they
you
just-
have
they
no
just found,
authority to turn that mechanism off, is that right?
Well, it doesn't matter if it cheats, is what this process is doing.
I understand that.
We don't care if it cheats, in fact, we want it to.
But although what Doug was saying, Dr. Frank, is if you're counting it beforehand, right? You don't have an audience and everything, but you do have this. That's where it could really go wrong, especially if it's still connected to the internet. Correct? So this is why this process is so important for observers to be involved, not just the ones here, but the observers of the video at the same time. Is that correct?
Right, and they can do that from the comfort of their home. It's
Now,
live stream and download.
So when you're counting ahead of time, and you said because of manpower, you must currently, correct?
Well, because of funding, we don't have the machines.
Right. So let's say that starts a week ahead of time.
Right.
Is all of that streaming online also?
Can't stream online until after close of the day.
Yes.
Election day is the only time you start
Right.
streaming.
And it was a rhetorical question.
Okay.
But do you see the Achilles heel there? That so you have to count ahead of time because, as Zaki said, you don't have the funding for it. But therefore, that is the part that nobody could live observe.
Well, they can observe here.
But here only.
Here only.
That's
But it's recorded. Wait a second.
It is recorded.
But I thought we weren't doing the precinct batches until after the close of.
Correct.
So they've all been opened and put into batches of 50.
The precinct batches don't have to be open. They actually come in.
Right. But the pre-sort.
The pre-sort, the mail-ins have to be.
So,
now, a lot of people.
But everything's coming in batches of 50, and those don't start to be fed in until after 8 p.m.
Correct.
So it's not a
We don't
question
even
of
get our first-
what's happening beforehand.
Right.
There's no entry into the scanner prior to 8 p.m. on election night.
Correct.
Okay.
More like 9 because it takes a while for everybody to get here.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you.
So let's
almost 10 o'clock.
Let's articulate, since you need the manpower day up, what is happening beforehand when the hands are on the ballots?
Specify. I'm not getting that.
So
question.
there's a lot of work that is being done that week prior to the actual
Right.
physical count.
That's the opening of the mail-ins.
And that's it.
Signature verification, putting them in stacks of 50, and they're
Right.
ready to go.
So where does the $300,000 need to come in? Where would that apply to manpower?
Well, it just buys more machines in order to do everything on election day, because basically you get about 3,000 per hour output on each machine. That's what it comes to. That's if you keep them busy. But doing it in this fashion where, he does his, he does his, he does his, I take it and I give it this way, it keeps the speed up. Now, they're still people, so they still slow down. They have to think a little bit. Sometimes they stretch.
This is my question. So you are using these machines when it's not election day? Because you don't have enough machines.
For the mail-in,
to do
you
it.
have to do the mail-ins through these, yes.
Exactly, and what's the percentage of mail-ins?
85%.
And those are being done before election day.
Only open. They can't be scanned until after 8 p.m.
Right.
But that's what's confusing. I think that's what
Exactly. That's my
candidate
point.
Herms is trying to get at.
That's exactly my
Are
point.
you ever running any ballots through these machines
Early.
before? Are you ever running any of them early?
Yes.
That's what he's trying to get at.
That's my point.
And when we're concerned that's a vulnerability.
Right.
I agree. That's why we want to do everything on election day. Before that, we have to have enough machines to have a throughput
Yes.
to get done in 3 hours.
So right now, the only way you can deliver your results on election night is to do some of this scanning in advance. And you'd rather not. You'd rather have more machines and do all of the scanning after the polls close.
Correct.
That's what the 300,000 is. That's the point he was making.
Exactly right.
Yeah. What if they were to do hand counting of those ballots earlier? Then you wouldn't need the $300,000.
If you were doing
Like
hand
Mark Cook
count,
has
wouldn't
been
it be?
teaching you how to do hand tabulation.
Hand count roadshow.
He's been going around the country
Yep.
teaching everybody how to do it. It's about 10 times cheaper, so it might only be $30,000 to do the hand count ahead of time rather than buy the machines to do it afterwards. What about that idea? Why can't you do that? I know the answer, but I'm asking
Well,
rhetorically.
in California, you're not allowed to.
That's why I said
Shasta County actually voted to get rid of the machines and do a hand count. And the ROV and assistant ROV went down to Sacramento and had them put up a bill just for Shasta County, because we were the ones who did it, to force them to use machines. So that's where that went. That may get overridden. The key is you've got to have the other part. You've got to have the people to do the hand count. And that's why you have to basically draft them like they do for jury duty, which is what Germany does and the Netherlands does and all that sort of thing. And then you have the people to do the hand count. Because if you do a hand count and you don't have the people, it's going to take you a long time.
What was the logic or the rationale behind pushing for the machines?
What was the logic?
Yeah.
Why was the state pushing so hard?
Why were they pushing so hard
Why
for
does
the
the state
machines?
not let you see the source code? Why does the state basically lock everybody away from actually doing observations?
So who's the actual position
in Sacramento that is in charge of that.
See.
And was it the ROV or the assistant ROV that went down there?
Both.
Is that the SOS, the Secretary of State?
Right. That's what I'm saying. Is it Secretary of State?
Secretary of State.
Secretary of State.
That's our target.
So let's reiterate that. That's a really important point. Let's reiterate that. Shasta County commissioners and people voted to go to all hand counting and get rid of the machines.
Right.
So as a county, you decided, we don't trust this stuff, we're going to do it ourselves, we're going to save money. But your former ROV and her assistant went down to Sacramento and lobbied the legislature to write a law forcing you to use these machines. Is that's what happened?
But I think you also have to look at what they were studying. And the majority of studies, the preponderance of the evidence shows that hand counting has inaccuracies, as much as 25%.
See, actually, that's incorrect.
I think that's incorrect.
You can look it up. I said as much as, and I said there's preponderance says hand counting is inaccurate.
I would simply
and
bring
that
up
is
the-
why. That is why democratically minded people, and not with a small d, that is why they went down to advocate for that. If you're asking for the reasoning, I'm giving it to you.
I would say when people quote those statistics, they forget that when computers screw up, they screw up big. And so, for example, in your recent election, when the scanners couldn't read the ballots because of the overspray issue, and you had to go back and recount everything because the machines were making way more errors than people would make. In other words, when machines screw up, they screw up big.
And then they found a reason for it and they corrected it.
But
how do you correct the errors in hand counts?
You do another hand count.
That's where the preponderance of evidence says that hand counting is inaccurate, as much as 25%.
Well, real quick, I would say a single hand count is, but if there's redundancy, that takes care
Yes.
of that problem right
Well
away.
said.
That's the creation, that's why there's the law.
And
that's why there's a videotape, so you could do a
That's
recount
right.
you could do 1,000 times over if you
That's
want.
We're
right.
not counting anything there, sir. All you're
Oh
doing
yeah,
is-
they are. They're flipping and showing
Everything's
the front and
getting
ballot,
counted.
the back of every ballot. So anybody online could actually do their own tally.
Except for most of the ballots in the last election weren't counted after. They were counted before. I was here for that. I observed it. And you couldn't even run it up here, and we couldn't see it from over here. So majority of those ballots they were flipping were not counted on the internet. And when they finally could open it up to be counted on the internet, there were problems and difficulties to see it on the internet.
But it was recorded, so yes.
Not most of it. None of it was recorded before election because it's illegal to record live ballots while people can still vote.
No, well, yeah, but we've recorded it, we just couldn't show it. So it was recorded, it's out there, but we can't show it until after the election.
You can
Someone
utilize
can't
it.
hand count it and know what's going on. They can't say, "Oh, I'm behind. I got to go out there and kick my people up," which they should be doing anyway.
So you can have an audit afterward. That's all.
That's right.
Yeah. That's pretty simple stuff.
It's fine if we counted
Counting
them all
101.
on election day, we wouldn't have that problem at all, would we?
I understand.
Quick question, we've covered a lot of really technical stuff. So for a voter who's watching our conversation right now, would it be accurate to say that the reason why it's important and ideal, even though it costs more money, to count all of the votes on election day, is it accurate to say that doing that makes it difficult for anybody, foreign country, whoever, to manipulate the election? Because if the results start coming in early, an election manipulator, that gives them an opportunity to start feeding bad data into there. But if it's counted on election day, you count it all up, here's the results, and it closes that door for anybody who, foreign country, whoever, to commit election fraud, because it happened so fast that they can't respond in a way to make it look organic. And so that's why the $300,000 for Shasta County, that's why there's value in that. It closes
It's a
that
one-time
door.
purchase too. It's not like every election.
Okay.
That's a one-time purchase.
Okay, good to know.
But other things would take longer. But you will have more problem selling the larger counties on going to a hand count initially.
Right.
They're going to have to be moved into it easily. What this does is this lets the citizens hand count when they want to. they can organize their own hand count, and they can compare it to the correct anything that went wrong. And then you can gradually move people in and go, well, I mean, if they had hand counted the night that we did it on the videos, they would have beat us. Because there were only 2 items on the ballot. They could have flown through it quicker than we could.
People could have done it faster than the machines, is what you're telling. The citizens could have known the tallies before you did.
Correct.
Is there no such technology to determine whether or not these machines are communicating outside?
Then I do it. Back when I first started, I'm really old. So back when I first started programming, our networking was through the house wiring. So we would just send our signals right through the house wire, and we could go to any other computer that was also plugged in. So it's really hard to do that. I mean, Bluetooth now can go 2.5 miles.
Yeah.
Just a Bluetooth.
I have a sensor in my briefcase that I can hold next to a machine and tell you whether it's talking on an internet. It's not very expensive. You can buy one on Amazon for $100.
Why not implement something like that?
You could.
So why not?
I don't think he could find it if I was sending it through the house wiring. And it depends on what he finds too, because the protocols, there are different protocols. People say, is it on the internet? Well, it cannot be on the internet. It doesn't mean it's not talking to something. Right. It could have its own network. The internet is a particular protocol, HTTP. So when you get on there, you'll see that little language on the HTTP thing. That's the internet. It has a pipeline to go. The protocol you use can be almost anything you want it to be. So, you know, you don't see the CIA sending things across the internet.
No, plus it sends it in packets, meaning it gathers all the information and in a split second, boom.
But it's still communicating.
Yeah, but I get it, and I agree with you, by the way, but the biggest challenge is it's not a constant communication. It's one quick blip like this, and they have all the information at one time.
Every state, you know, I travel the country, so I know how it's different. Every state's different. I was just in Wisconsin yesterday, in Milwaukee, and they run all the ballots through their tabulator. They don't do it all on camera like this, but they run, and then at the end of the day, they roll the tabulator over next to the window, and it calls a cell tower and reports. So when people they say, well, the machines aren't connected to the internet, they can, and they connect through a cell connection, and that's public knowledge. The clerks all acknowledge that's how their machines run. So a lot of the machines in your state are the same as those machines in Wisconsin. So the reason I'm bringing that up is because this is Shasta. Shasta just got away from the Dominion machines, moved to these machines, but many of your counties still use those other machines. Many of the counties in California still use the exact same machines that are used in Wisconsin. That it's no question. You don't have to have it the size of a piece of rice. The machines have the modem in it. So they're designed for that. They're designed to be able to report remotely. So that's another complicating issue to this. As you're implementing this across the state, there's a whole different plethora of types of machines. You got 4 different brands in your state. 4 different types.
Language matters too. So the proponents of machines use language that they're not connected to the internet. I guess 99.9% of the time they're not. But when they need to be, they are. And that's the language they use. So they feel very conscious in their language that they're using on purpose. They don't say it does not have the ability to. They say they're not connected. Very important language that you're using. We need to be able to parse their words to understand the manipulation there. It's scary, actually.
But not connected to the internet does not mean it's not networked.
That is actually
It just
right.
doesn't. So they could be completely accurate
How that accuracy
and completely
went on
wrong.
the hand count for the audit, the 1% audit, can you speak to how that went here in Shasta County?
1% audit?
Yeah, how did that go?
It went perfect, of course, because, you know, we are watching. And if you're watching, it'll probably be better. Now, that doesn't mean that the machines are necessarily the culprit, because there are a lot of people that would want to play even if the vendor did not. And as a geek, you can get into everything, and you can do just about everything. So especially since there's only 4 vendors. There's only 4 vendors, I guarantee you there's a mole in every one of those poor fellas, and they're playing their games. So it's just the way it is. Everything has a back door. If there are any programmers in the room, you can confirm that we do what we do.
Never wrote a piece of software that I didn't give myself a back door.
You've got to give yourself a back door.
You have to. There's no way to do the software development without it.
Right. But this actually eliminates this problem. It doesn't matter if this machine is completely corrupted, because the citizens now have the ability to hand count it themselves. And that is the whole key to this. So until you get to a hand count, this method will work, and you can roll it out instantly. It doesn't take any modification. You don't have to buy special machines.
It's legal in the state of California.
It's legal in every state.
And affordable.
And affordable.
Mm-hmm.
Downright cheap.
Yeah. Cost of freedom.
So there seems to be some people that don't like this versus just doing it the old way. How come they don't like this?
I don't know.
I would say locally, it's more of a political theater thing. They liked the old ROV, they don't like the new one. He could give out puppies and they'd have a problem. So here, it's more of a political theater between two parties that can't get along in our community. It's not so much the people themselves don't agree, because the people themselves and our Board of Supervisors that represent us did vote for full hand counting. And just like many other things, I think there's been 9 issues. The state has came back and made legislation to keep us from governing ourselves.
They watch us closely.
I would say another serious reason why, for example, Trump has been tweeting lately that he wants to get rid of all the machines. Yes. And there's been a very strong movement since 2020. You know, you have Mr. Lindell out there traveling the country saying he wants to melt them down and turn them into prison bars. So there's a very strong anti-machine movement in the country. And I think that's why Shasta went that way. They was, yeah, we're going to participate in that. And that is alive and well. Even as recently as yesterday, President Trump tweeted again that he wants to lead a movement to get rid of all the machines. So there's a lot of, there's a strong political movement.
And again, political theater with derangement syndromes and stuff feed into that.
Exactly. So, yes. Yeah. So there's a lot going on around the issue. And Clint is, ROV Curtis is is kind of stuck in the middle of that political dilemma. And the state law says he has to do certain things, so he's complying with the state. But then he's putting in everything he's capable of putting in legally to kind of plug the gaps and do the stop gaps. And that's why I think it's so important. People see this because they realize this is totally legal, and he's just made the elections transparent. And are they perfectly secure yet? I would not say that yet.
I would not say that.
I would not say. There's still a couple of loopholes that I don't like. But this is a huge step forward.
Processing can be secure.
So good.
I'm going to add a layer, something I don't understand, so I'm hoping all you experts can help me understand. You've got voters, you've got votes, you've got counts. That's how my brain works. Number of people who vote should equal the number of ballots counted.
Should.
So, inspired by one Dr. Frank back in November 24, I went to the registrar's office
in Sonoma County, where you're
Sonoma
from.
County. The day the election was certified, I watched the certification, et cetera, and stepped to the window next to it, and then requested the list, excuse me, of everyone who voted in this election. And so, with the assistance of people whose area of expertise data is, looked at the voting methods, whether it was in person, by mail, et cetera, the various voting methods, counted up those numbers, looked at the Secretary of State's website and the website of our registrar's office to see if those numbers balanced. And they didn't. It's okay. Met with them, crunched out the numbers, and basically, because elections are supposed to reconcile, the numbers are supposed to equal, that's when you certify them, and they didn't, and so I didn't understand that. And was told that because the special election had one card, one page, one ballot, right? One issue, maybe some places two. But back in 24, the ballots had 2 cards, right? So in some instances, with the almost universal or the universal vote by mail, envelopes were mailed in that had a card. Not all voters vote for all candidates, we were told. Some envelopes had the 2 cards. Some envelopes had nothing in them, and they were still counted because they don't know that. They go through the signature verification. You don't know until the ballot is opened and they're separated.
There's a little hole in the...
I know, that's a whole separate topic,
that will
but
show
I
you
don't
that there's a ballot in there.
I don't understand how, and I looked at every county, and the numbers don't match.
I've done every county, she's right. None of the counties match the state.
And yet all of these races, contests, elections were certified, and the state certified it. So I don't know what I'm missing. Help me understand how this, also the ICX machine, that's a one-page ballot. So you've got a one-page ballot, you've got a two-card ballot, you vote in person. Some people vote for some people don't. Our results on our website have instead of voters' votes counts, they compare the number of participants and the ballots cast. And we were told without any compunction, they're never going to match. They're irreconcilable.
They should match.
Of course, and so I need help understanding.
When you're selling something, you have to say.
You go to the bank and the banker says, well, your bank
right.
balance doesn't match what we say, but it's okay, that's normal.
No, because I opened with that scenario.
Yeah.
And was told that, oh no, it's different because the identity of the voters sat the same weekly. Whereas in the bank, they know who you are, you can go in, and so none of it makes sense to my brain, and these are certified elections.
Right.
So now this is all recorded, and I just need help understanding.
In California, certification no longer makes a difference. They have now said it's all ministerial, and we will certify it if you don't. So it really doesn't make it. They've taken it away from the counties. They've taken away from...
That's a law. It's a federal law, though, isn't it?
Well, no, it's a state law. States handle most of their elections, and nothing says it has to be actually I have to do certification. So if the people don't certify, the state will certify for them. So we don't really matter anymore.
You've been taken out of the process.
I've been taken out. They took away another layer of
Local control.
voter integrity. Of actually someone who's going to make a decision. They just do it themselves. So, then
it doesn't have a...
I have heard people use excuses that, well, Shasta County had 2,700 more votes than they had voters. Okay? The excuse I heard off the top was that it was provisional votes. That is not true. If it's a provisional vote and it isn't valid, then it's not a voter. So you don't count it, right? Because it's provisional, it didn't come in. If it's provisional and you cure it so it is now a voter, then you can count it and then you have a vote. So they still line up. It's not like there's some magic there where they don't line up. So,
how much staff do you have helping you making all that stuff line up?
We have 12.
Wow.
Wow. You can do that with 12 people?
We're Shasta County.
That's amazing, though. That's amazing. Shows you what's
We can't
possible.
even open the mail in LA County with 12 people.
So Rhonda came to you, and she was a Shasta County resident. She came to you and she said, ROV, Curtis, I don't understand why you don't reconcile with the state. Would you have that problem? How would you answer her?
Yeah, how would you
I mean,
we should
you should reconcile. So
something is wrong.
Something is wrong.
Either on our end, on their end, or somebody's playing with something.
But who confronts whom about...
Well, the problem is, and I think there was ballot stuffing going on earlier.
Can you explain what ballot stuffing means so that people who don't know...
Where people, they had a room where they put the ballots, they didn't have any sort of anything to secure them. Nothing was sealed, just an empty room, and then they had this door you had to go through with one little key codes, and you go through it. So that was their security. Except when you look at the logs, there's hundreds of entries that show entries in that room that has no name. So it's kind of weird. I haven't done analysis to see if actually things have been deleted as far as records, but as far as names, they're not there. So I don't know how you do that. But they had a lot of elections where the first numbers that came in were completely different than the other two layers. So your early vote was different than your lower vote. So the people that were sitting in that room voted completely different than your other two sections, which actually never happens, by the way. It's always pretty flat. Okay, if it's not flat, something's wrong, because you got you're looking at basically really huge poll numbers. So if something happens between this one and this one, then like somebody dies or something, then the numbers should be the same. And generally, if someone dies, it doesn't really affect the numbers that much either. People don't know, and they keep voting for the same guy. So sometimes they win after they're dead, but that's an aside.
So is that what we hear?
Are you referring to Shasta County specifically with those ballot stuffing allegations?
Yes. Yes.
So you're asserting right now that there was criminal activity.
I believe there was, yes.
Okay.
Based on what he just said, if you don't have a log and people have access to something, it's
well, no, he was talking about ballot stuffing, not about access.
And when public
Well, that's where
records
the
requests
stuffing
were
would be
submitted, they were
if they
denied,
Right.
including video records that were requested and they were denied. Yet every records request that has came through your office has been honored, correct?
Better.
Okay.
But doesn't give me a call. Anyway, so now you have ballots in there that don't add up to the rest, but there's no way to take them back out. So if you have 2,700 extra stuffed ballots, it's too bad, so sad.
With no name assigned to each of those ballots. Is that what you're saying?
There's no name on those ballots because they're just generic ballots.
You had 100 names that voted, but you had 110 ballots.
Correct.
And so you don't know where those 10 ballots, those 10 ballots aren't assigned to some voter in the rolls. They're in the stack somehow.
Can't take them out.
That's the ballot stuffing.
Right. So if you have that, you can look at voter tendencies and everything like, because you see a lot of that and says, well, that particular party voted early.
Yeah.
And then it's different. So what you have to look for is, well, is that true? Well, how many of that party voted? How many other party voted? Because people usually vote party lines, right? And you can look at that. That might explain it. But if that doesn't explain it, then the conclusion is something happened to make your ballots grow.
And also now that the ballots have been shredded, even though the request from the board was to keep them, those ballots have been shredded, so there's no way to go back and look.
I would also note something here. This is really important. ROV Curtis has made he made an allegation that there was illegal activity. But you notice he's not really pursuing that. Instead of trying to prosecute previous perpetrators, he's saying, I'm going to secure future elections. So it's important, I think, because as I see election integrity going on around the country, we're not after the cheaters right now. We're trying to secure, and if you think about it from the candidate's perspective, which was why I think they're so interested in this, they're interested in securing the next election. They're not necessarily interested in prosecuting in the former. So I think that's why this is such an important day. We're telling people, you can secure your election. Here's how. Let's all get on board and let's do this.
Well, I tend to add in that if in fact he did find that there had been, if he's going to allege that there was criminal activity, wouldn't it then be incumbent upon him as a public official to report that to the Secretary of State and to the California Bureau of Investigations to be able to follow up on that?
Actually, I've reported it to the Department of Justice and asked them to come in and look it over.
Okay, now California?
Not California.
Well, wouldn't that, because you're really looking at the California election and its integrity. So why wouldn't you report that to California since states are in charge of elections?
DOJ is actually looking at these things.
Okay, so you picked a friendly venue versus something so you haven't reported it to the state. You reported it to the Federal Department of Justice because you felt that was a friendlier venue. But you didn't report it to the state, which is the institution in charge of running elections by our federal constitution.
But if they are failing, why would you report to the cheater that they're
No,
cheating?
you're not talking about the state cheating. We're talking about a local, nonpartisan election official that this man is alleging engaged in criminal activity.
But remember, those are the people that went to the state, which is
Shasta County is so powerful, sir. Yeah, we're so powerful that these two people could upend all of the apparatus of the State Department.
I'm just answering your question
That's
of why he would not report to the cheater that
This
the cheater
doesn't make
is cheating.
sense. He should have reported it to the state authorities to investigate if it were really a criminal activity. At this point, he was venue shopping to get good press. To further a whole set of election conspiracy wackoism.
So okay, wait. Let's go with that real quick.
Thank you.
Would you have been okay if you reported it to the state and the DOJ?
Yeah. Yeah, but the fact that he was venue shopping for only one set of eyes.
There we go.
What was that, Clint? Clint, would you tell us that again?
Going to the state
As
now.
it should. If
All
you're,
right.
if you're an
I'm
elected
glad you're
official.
here. I'm glad
right?
you asked him to do that. He
I've
said
been
he's
an
gonna
elected
do it,
official.
and
You
it's
have
done.
responsibilities.
You have to hold him accountable, and you've done that successfully today,
Excellent.
right here. I'm glad that you're here. He should have done
Yes.
it to the state, and now he's going to do it.
Thank you.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah, so Clint, you will be reporting it to the state at this time, correct?
I will forward the exact same thing I sent to DOJ to the state.
Excellent, thank you.
Most of the
And actually,
time,
we'd like to
Thank
hear
you.
what the response is.
most of the time is around the country when I've seen people in your situation and they report it. Most of the time it goes to the local DA. Most of the time it goes to the local sheriff. Like you can look up in San Joaquin County when we found a local official who was stuffing ballots, which is proven in court, and it's proven in court. In San Joaquin County, Lodi, look it up. The city councilman was stuffing ballots. So normally that's not handled at the state level anyway. Normally that's handled, but I'm not. You committed to go into the to the state. You ought to. But I would also recommend you report it to your own sheriff and report it to your own DA because that's usually where that's handled.
They need to be involved.
Yeah, but you're new to the job, right? You've had how long you've been here now? A year?
Since May.
Since May. Okay, so he's had 6 months. He's uncovered some stuff, and you're mostly been focusing on securing the next election. It sounds like.
And the important part is that discrepancies were discovered.
Right.
And they have been reported. So the fact that there is any confusion as if there are no discrepancies versus there being that, they do in fact exist. So there is in fact a problem. And so I think we can all agree that this isn't a farce, that there is an issue with election integrity and that's all.
Needs to be investigated.
Absolutely.
Well, there's another example that might throw those counts off that I was referring to. You go in with your ballot, unopened ballot, and say, I want to vote in person, and they say, you've already voted. Well, no, because here's my ballot. So various things can happen as a result of that. One of them can be the DA gets involved, hears your argument and says, okay, let the person vote. In addition to the fact that they counted the first ballot that came back, so that other ballot will also be counted. So that would, well, that's how I was told
Yeah, I
it
think they like
works.
you. If you come in and someone has already voted in your name.
In every county in California?
Everywhere.
Okay.
And it's already voted in your name, and they have already accepted it, because once they've accepted the mail-in, it's taken out of that envelope and it's counted. You can't put it back in the envelope.
That's true.
It's gone.
It's anonymous. There's no way to remove it
They
anymore.
made that clear.
So they take your provisional, but then they check it when they balance to see if you've already voted, and then your provisional is not counted.
So it never would be, even if they
Never
say,
would be.
okay, we'll.
First win, they win.
It can't be because you've already
Can't be.
voted. That would be a duplicate.
That's the law anyway.
Wait. But you pointed out something amazing here, because think about this, and we're going to correlate it with what you said, Clint. So let's use numbers. Let's say 1,000 people come in and do a fake ballot, right? And then you have 200 people come in and do the real ballot. Well, the only thing that gets adjudicated or fixed is that 200. You still have that 800 that went through.
And got counted.
And got counted.
You're going to count the first one in. You're not going to count the second.
Exactly. So that's exactly my point. So what she said is extraordinarily valid, because the only thing that would be repaired is if the actual voter came in and voted. But if they didn't, if they're 67% didn't vote in 2022, so if they're one of those 67% that they're counting on, those can pass right through, and that can be an illegal
The
vote.
first one that arrives, I was told,
Right.
is the one that gets counted.
First one in wins.
Right.
Mr. Curtis? Even if you are voting in person, it doesn't matter. The other one counts.
Right, because
And you
if
don't.
somebody, mailed
They
one
can't bring it
in,
back
your
out.
name, got
Yes, sir.
ejected or something.
I think that you've done it right by taking it to the DOJ. You don't want to play your hand with the state or even crooked county officials who might do what you've already said the state has done, which is taking control of county elections away from counties to try and counteract what you've done. Why would you warn them, okay, here's something else I found?
We're going to investigate
It seems to
you,
me
clean up your paperwork.
Yeah, it seems to be smart just to take it to the DOJ. Thank you for doing that. I disagree with this. I don't think you should take it to the state.
What difference
That's
does it
just
make?
me.
Too late now, they know.
They can have both.
I wanted to change gears just for a
They
sec.
kind of knew anyway, because they wanted the changes I was making to the department. So I wrote them this 25-page essay of all the changes we made, and in that I was talking about the lack of chain of custody and the rooms that had log files missing. So they really have all the information anyway. I didn't file it as a criminal matter, I just gave it to them. So they had that information back in September. And I don't think they want to deal with it. But I don't know if they have the capacity. DOJ will have the capacity. A lot of it will hinge on the ballots are still there, so if they do it quick enough, is if the ballots are put in, if you put in fake ballots, you can't separate them, right? Well, you can a little bit, because when you fill in a bubble, and you fill in another one, and you fill in another one, it's going to be the same. And if you fill in 20, you will actually be able to do like a signature and actually go through and find which bubbles were filled in by the same person.
Wow.
Now there's an advantage with the one they had last time, because they had this thing about overspray, which is another concern, because they said something was oversprayed and so it would read. Except if you look at the ballot, you don't see anything. So apparently that machine can read something that we can't see. And that's a problem, because what else is it reading in there that we can't see? It should only read what we can see, right? So I'm not sure how the overspray thing's working yet, so before me, so I don't have time for it. But when they did the duplication of ballots, they would have to have signed on to who was duplicating the ballots, and technically they could then get a sample of those circles and match them to the other ballots that had 50 by one person to that one, and they could lock it together. But that's not something the state could probably do. That's more of a FBI,
It's like a forensic.
DOJ, big boys. You know?
So
Clint,
where is the ballot stuffing taking place? Is it taking place here?
It would have taken place wherever they were storing, that room upstairs that they were storing.
Not in right now.
Oh, can't stuff them now because everything is locked up tight. Four seals on camera.
I would qualify that you can't stuff it that way anymore.
Sure.
I would say in your state you have a huge problem. It's been proven in court, so I'm not speculating, that a fourth to a third of the people in your rolls don't belong there. And you're mailing ballots to them anyway. And so there are people, there are active groups that are collecting those ballots that are floating around, littering the pavement, and turning those ballots in. And that's another kind of stuffing.
Right.
It's like a harvesting of not real voters. And that's another, and that is still going on.
Deceased people don't vote.
But your numbers would still match, which would
Right.
But they do it
You
now.
wouldn't detect. You wouldn't
Yes.
be able to detect that over here.
Yes.
Right.
You fixed everything under your control.
Right.
It's good.
There is still something out of your control.
A lot.
And
Right.
the fact that you're mailing ballots to people who aren't real voters is a big problem.
Or the theft of those ballots from mailboxes. which
Exactly.
I myself have discovered where apartment buildings are having their entire, mailboxes are all in the same area.
Yeah.
They get ransacked.
Yes.
And so I've talked to multiple tenants in multiple apartments. And I asked, have you received your ballot? No, I haven't received my ballot.
Yeah.
And this all happened because I discovered a stack of mail from multiple apartments that were all next to each other in the same block, just dumped in a parking lot.
Yep.
And I thought that was kind of strange. So then we went over to those apartments and asked, have you received your ballot? No, I haven't.
Which, if I could just piggyback off of what you're saying, 2020, I went to vote. There was a couple in front of me. They told the couple that they had already voted. My husband and I went next. They said, Mr. and Mrs. Yeater, you're good to go. You've already voted. I knew I hadn't voted, right? But I didn't know what to do. So I said, well, I still want to vote. I didn't vote. So I filled out what they gave me, a provisional ballot. What I just learned from you right now is they're going to go back to the original vote. So somebody voted for me. It wasn't me.
But your own experience, 4 ballots were stuffed. We would call that stuff. Those names were used by somebody, which then disenfranchised you and the couple in front of you from their constitutional right to have their ballot counted. That's a super important issue here because it's a constitutional issue. This is a civil rights issue. The system that the state is imposing on you is enabling your rights to be violated. That's another huge aspect to this. Not only do we need to have honest clerks that are
securing the election, but your state system is disenfranchising you from
And she's
constitutional
at
rights.
the other
That's a
end of the
huge
state
issue.
than we are here in Shasta County. So this tells you that it is a statewide issue.
It's a state
that's
issue.
happening
Yeah, San Diego.
everywhere.
It's a-
Because she can't be further away from us.
Right.
And
San
it's
Diego.
happening there.
Yes.
So this is not just Clint trying to rain on somebody's parade locally.
And her story with the 4 ballots that were stolen, because the couple in
Yes,
front
couple
of you,
in front of me, my
plus
husband
you
and
and your
myself,
husband.
yes.
So 4 votes were stolen from real citizens in that process. I see that all over the country because around the country it's become centrally controlled. That's why Curtis is saying the state is taking away even more control. We need to return it to local control so that we can protect our citizens. We can defend the constitutional rights. That's the whole reason we're here today. We're trying to alert everybody to the fact that there is a way you can secure your elections. The candidates are campaigning on it. We're organizing around this. Hey, California, secure your elections. Don't let them be centrally controlled anymore. Bring it back local.
That's right. We're taking our
So,
California
real
back.
quick, if, as a candidate, if I'm talking to Newsom or I'm talking to the Secretary of State, I'm talking to the legislative caucus members in Sacramento, if I say why not,
What are they going to say to you?
Well, that's what that's what I need to know.
They're going to
know. I need to know why. When I say why aren't you doing this?
Why aren't you doing what Clint's doing?
And I show this event, and because we're at the top, you got to get to the decision makers. Right?
Yes.
And I also think it's a consumer protection issue.
100%.
Right? You call it civil rights.
Civil
I
rights.
think
It's a civil rights. It's a constitutional issue.
Right. What is it that I can say, and the other candidates, and I think you're on the same boat. I'm learning a lot from all these other candidates. They're super to be here. I love them. What is it when I say why not? What are they going to
What is the legislature going to say to you when you
what are
say,
the
why
individuals-
won't you fix this? What are they
the
going to say to you?
individuals in person, when I sit with somebody that's in decision making or
Yeah.
lobbyist or whoever, what is it that they're going to say why not? I don't see why not. It's a progressive idea for a solution that may be the next solution. We don't know. It's got some things that need, but it sounds like it's more viable and relevant than what's being done, or to help protect a consumer. Take my governor hat off. As a consumer, or just as a citizen, you're protecting my vote. You're protecting me and my vote.
And it's a nonpartisan issue.
Right, of
it
course.
has nothing to
Of
do
course, that's
with
why I say
NDP, Democrat, Republican,
and
whatever.
For anybody here, I'm
election
an NDP.
integrity.
I lean on many traditional values,
Yeah.
but I have lots of Democrats that want free and fair elections too. They hate the fact that this fight's going.
Amen.
Okay, they're not the left atheist Marxists, as I call them.
Right, right.
Okay, that's just lie, cheat, steal. That's what they do in China. That's what they do in Russia. We fight it globally, all over the world, and now it's here. The ethics are gone. Ethics, right?
Yeah.
So don't lie, cheat, steal. That's what we want to. That's what we want to bring in. Most Democrats are that way too in California. We have to get the message. I need to know why not. What are
Okay,
they
so
gonna say?
I've asked that question of dozens of AGs, dozens of Secretaries of States, and testified before a dozen legislatures in the country. And I was just with Robin Boss recently. He was the Speaker of the House. And after showing him evidence of fraud, he stood in front of television cameras and announced to the world, quote, "We have widespread fraud in the state of Wisconsin." And so the reporter stuck the mic in front of him and said, "So what are you going to do about it, sir? Why not? That's your question. Why not?" And he said, "There's nothing we can do about it. You have to elect a new governor." That's what his answer in the media.
Not much of an answer.
And so there is no political will in any legislature in this
No, I'm
country.
talking about this specific process.
Oh well.
When I say we're going to fund this,
You're saying why not?
Why? What are they going to say? Why?
Well,
why
the
aren't
advantage
they?
of this, even if you think the machine is perfect, if you love machines and they're always perfect, what this does is it will prove to the people that don't, those crazy people that don't necessarily agree, the wackadoos, that it actually is perfect.
No, I'm saying that's what I'm saying. Why not? How can they give an objection to me?
Why will the legislators say no?
Yeah, what's the
And it's dirt cheap.
what's going to be their objection? And the closeout.
Ask them.
I'm going to do that.
Ask them. They'll tell you their objection.
There's no political will to do that.
So there's no reason.
It's like the third rail of politics. When we were younger, you couldn't talk about Social Security. That was, if you did, you were out. I'm telling you, around the country, there's zero political will. Anybody who says, "Yeah, we're going to help reform our elections,"
they're ostracized by the legislatures. I'm telling you, that's a
You get it on
national.
both sides, Republican and
Oh, it's
Democrat?
not a Republican Democrat issue. Absolutely not.
Right. That's what I thought.
It works for those that are in power.
Every legislature in the country, it doesn't matter, Republican, Democrat.
And they're
doesn't
in
matter.
power.
But anyway, as we're getting
And they
more
wanna stay
political
there.
here, we
Yeah.
probably want to take this outside.
Can I ask one question?
Yeah.
So,
Because
The
I'm sorry,
point-
we shouldn't be doing politics.
No, right, I'm not trying to do the
I know,
politics.
it wasn't direct, but I need to know.
so when do you actually start counting votes? Do you verify the signature before you count that first vote?
Yes.
Over there, he showed us earlier.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I missed that because I.
Yeah, you came in late.
Yeah,
Well, the signature verification is always,
but it's always done before a vote is counted.
but basically you have 3 hours of training to be a signature verifier. That's what the state gives you, 3 hours of training. And some states give you none. They say, hey, you're a signature verifier, congratulations. But California gives you 3 hours. If you wanted to do it as a profession, it would take you 3.5 years.
So I do the same thing as Kim. I take my ballot in and I say, I'm so-and-so, here's my ID. I'm checking to see if anybody voted for me.
You can't take your ID. No,
Well, I do. I do.
You
I take
force
my,
them.
no, I say, here's my ID. And I do it whenever I go anywhere.
Okay, we're not supposed to. Okay.
Well, it's okay.
You
To me,
can.
it's
I can't
important.
take it though.
It's very important. If that does happen and someone has voted for you, you go to the sheriff's office, you report a crime.
There's nothing he can do either.
Well, you at least have it on the books.
You can put on books, but you're never going to get the vote.
Well-
A lot of times, they will give you a provisional to
I
make
know
you
that.
feel better. But it's just to make you feel better.
Yep,
Your
but I
vote's
think it's
already
important
in the
everybody
system.
goes and asks.
Can't take
So
it.
is the sentiment to
But anyway,
do
let's,
away with?
we're
Can
done
I-
with
I
this,
just-
so let's
I just
talk
have one little-
outside.
I just have one little question, actually.
This guy's waited a while.
It's not a big deal. So
It's a good question. Come back.
no, this is a good question. So aside from all the politics stuff, what I wanted to ask is there is potentially a special election coming up that might be going on at the same time as like a midterm general. So you might actually have votes from 2 different elections happening at the same time. I just wanted to see. Yeah, well, I wanted to see what your plan to deal with that was.
If they call a special election, we will have one. And it will probably be ending, that about the same time we're starting the June election. So it'll be a mess.
Wouldn't technically some of the votes still be coming in, or maybe not coming in, but they're postmarked, so they might actually be interfering. So I'm just trying to figure out how you plan to separate those.
We couldn't put them together. It'd have to be a small gap. We'd have to get to the point where we have to cut off. Because otherwise, like you said, you might get a blend there.
Okay.
And that
So
would be a bad idea.
your thought is that they won't interfere.
Yeah, we're not going to run them simultaneously. That would be terrible.
That's what I was concerned about.
Right.
Cool.
So we've got to have a gap there where you're ending one and immediately you're starting the next. But
And
hopefully they will put them together and then it'll all be in June.
All right. Outside for your press conference?
Outside for the press conference.
Everybody
That way
follow
people
the
can be
leader.
political if they want.
David,
We
you
don't
want to lead
anybody
everybody
here.
that way?
All right, fantastic. Clint.
Thank you. Ask you a question. I was a little bit late, but what I wanted to ask is, everyone's concerned with cost. And what are your plans to curtail costs and to save money?
Well, we're going to do our own printing.
Our own printing.
And that will save about $100,000.
That would save $100,000. Anyway, you and I know the answer to that, but if we're going to save money, and then if there were no mail-in ballots, there would be a tremendous saving. Is that correct?
Correct. Mail-in ballots cause all of that. Well,
So mail-in ballots. So Clint, mail-in ballots cause all of that. Okay, got it. Fantastic. All right, we're going to head out to the press conference. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to head outdoors and we're going to start the press conference in 3 minutes. If we can head outdoors, press conference in 3 minutes.
Thank you.
Patty. Hey, I need to give you a hug. Great job. Do you know where Patty is? Patty has my press release.
She's up front or she's in the observer area?
Okay, thank you.
How long was your drive?
About 4 hours.
Yeah. Not too bad.
How are you?
Good, good, good.
Good to see you.
Hang on, let me get ready for the press release. Good to see you. Patty. Patty's Lisa here. Where's Patty?
Good opportunity to make a quick announcement.
After the press conference. Yeah. Where? Tom, where's the banner? Tom, free Tina Peters. Where's the banner?
It's in the car.
Oh, you need to have it out here so it's already ready to go.
Yeah, it's 50 feet long. It's about from.
Yeah. But I need you to have it ready so that we're ready to go. Have it. I would go get it from the car and have it right here.
You want it here?
Yes. Yeah. Because I can't have everybody. We're going to be outside. It'll be outdoors. Awesome. Patty, thank you. Thank you. You're the best.
You got it.
We're going to head outside for the press conference. Excellent. And we're going to head outside for the press conference. Hey, you guys. Great work. Great work, everybody. This is amazing. All right, here we go.
Press conference.
Yes. Was there anyone that you wanted to have up at the podium with us, Clint?
No, I don't see
Okay.
Chris here, so.
Okay, fantastic. Doug, we're going to head out? Okay, fantastic. Hey, great work. And Charlie, where's my Charlie?
It can't beat you, you're right.
Okay, we are getting ready right now for the press conference. So we've got the sun coming in this way, we'll be this way. I think that'll work. Okay, fantastic. All right, guys, stick with us. Yeah. Here we go. Take our California back. Election reform. Your vote matters. Take our California back. Come on. All right. Leo, let's have you up here. Leo, let's have you up here, right here. Doug. What was that? Doug, we're going to have you up here when you're ready. Scott, I'm going to have you up here as well. We're going to have you guys behind the podium. And where's David? Yeah, we'll put our candidates in the middle. Lewis, let's get you up here. Kobe, let's get you up here as well. And just... Good. Is there any way you would want to help me with my camera work here? Is that possible? All right, so we're gonna, here we go. So I'm gonna have you record this if possible. All right, here we go. I'll share all of this. So we're live right now, okay? And you get to do this press conference. Okay. So actually, here we go. There we go. Get yourself in a good position wherever you feel like you need to be. And just remember, your fingers go on. It's already on and running for you. And so this is just the battery pack. And
Right.
this,
I can hold this together like this, though,
or
right?
you can put it in your pocket.
No, this is fine.
No? Okay. Awesome. All right. Let's make sure everybody's out. Hang on one second. Hi, Clint. Clint, let's get you. Let's bring you up. Hang on, we've got a little bit of media.
We've got Shirley Simons up here. Do not talk. And you can find Sir Shirley on Mountain View Media.
Oh, it's okay. Who this guy was. It's okay. I'm often ignored.
Well, I'm trying to be, but
I'm not a gubernatorial candidate.
Right. Press is getting set up to go. Fantastic. Hello, everybody. Hello. We are in Shasta County. Is this the most amazing place on earth right now?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Epicenter, baby.
It is the epicenter. Absolutely the epicenter. Okay. So, good afternoon. Are we still in the morning or are we in afternoon now? Oh my gosh, we just came out of one of the most amazing experiences. Thank you to Clint Curtis, ROV of Shasta County. Thank you to his amazing team. We are so grateful for you guys opening the doors, for allowing election transparency and creating the possibility of election reform. Now, I want to make sure that my guys, I'm going to have just the governor candidates up here and the supervisors up here. Doug Frank up here, and I know we can't see everybody, but I don't want to block anybody. So you guys want to come a little bit closer? There we go. That way you guys scoot in a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Nice and intimate. Squeeze in the middle. This is fantastic. All right. My fellow Californians and freedom-loving patriots, my name is Kim Yeater. I am the host of, you may have heard of the Take Your Power Back show. We're on the heels of the Take Your Power Back California Governor Showdown, where we highlighted 13 governor candidates who brought it. If you didn't see it, I want to encourage you to go to takeourcaliforniaback.com. You want to see that showdown, and you want to get a good sense of what our governor candidates really believe, and are they really willing to put a stake in the ground. Today, we have them here. We have a handful of them here today where they said election reform matters. I am so proud to lead the charge alongside our Take Our California Back charge alongside election integrity expert Dr. Douglas G. Frank. You guys may have known him. He has traveled the country, 48 states. So I would consider him an election integrity expert, or rather, let's reframe that, an election reform expert, because are we going to reform our elections? We are reforming our elections, putting the power back into we, the people's hands. Now, with me on this stage, in this space, we have gotten to not only partner with Dr. Douglas G. Frank, our Take Our California Back teams, but the governor candidates who are standing in the gap. With us today, you're gonna hear from them. We've got Kobe Markham. We've got Scott Shields, Louis Kearns, Leo Zaki, David Kallenberg, and our amazing supervisors and Clint Curtis we're going to introduce in just a second. Now, these guys are the ones that are standing in the gap saying, you know what? Not on my watch. This is not going to happen anymore. We are declaring transparency across every single platform, giving the power back to you. We've united to expose the dysfunction, restore trust in our elections, and reclaim the California dream and God-intended dream for every family, built on faith, freedom, values, and the God-given potential of we the people. This is not about left versus right. It's about common sense solutions that put families first, fight corruption, protect our constitutional freedoms, and ensure every vote is counted fairly and transparently. We're calling on Democrats tired of bureaucracy, independents seeking real change, and Republicans ready to fight for the values that once made California a golden state. Together, in our Take Our California Back movement, we are gathering teams, leaders from across the state, to make sure voters are educated. That we have voters are educated statewide on practical steps to election reform, voter verification, accurate rolls. We're all in agreement that that's important. Yes, full transparency, and secure processes so that every Californian can trust the results. We need to know. Rhonda, thank you. Thank you for everybody who had input in that room. Everything you shared was so important. Your story, your experience in the state of California. We want to make sure that those votes are counted properly, that your vote and your voice is heard. Shasta, thank you, Clint Curtis and teams. Shasta is leading the charge. You are laying the foundation. You are giving us vision. You're showing us what is possible in the state of California. The Bible says, where there's no vision, the people perish. It also says, write the vision, make it plain, so that he who reads it may run with it. Well, California, it's time. It's time to take that message and to speak it loud and clear. It's time for election transparency and election reform. And thank you to Shasta, Clint Curtis, Shasta's team, and all of the community of Shasta County. From our hearts, we know what it is to be in the fight. And you guys, you have been in this fight from the beginning. And you have been thrown punches from all sides. But you are an example of what it means to stand firm, to let nothing move you, to always give yourself fully to the work of the Lord. Thank you.
Amen.
We are honored to walk this walk and run this race with you. We're going to give Doug Frank, Dr. Douglas G. Frank, election reform expert, the opportunity to have a couple words with you. Then we're going to introduce our candidates who are going to speak about what we just experienced is possible with election transparency and reform. And then we're going to have our supervisor speak, and then we're going to bring up Clint Curtis, and then we're going to wrap it on up and invite you to a very special event, the Governor Forum debate tonight at 6 p.m. We'll tell you more about that in a moment. Doug Frank, come on up.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be part of what we're doing. Okay. Kim asked me, along with Laura Logan, to moderate the showdown we had in November, and 13 of the candidates were there, and I was so excited because they heard the call, and 6 of them are standing here today. They wanted to come up to Shasta County to see how election could be run in a safe way, and they're actually campaigning on it. And so it's exciting to me. The way you actually have reform on election reform is that the candidates themselves are adopting it in their platforms. So that's great. Now, I just want to tell you, I've been traveling the country for 5 years now, almost 25 out of 30 days a month, and I've been bragging on Shasta County. Because from the very beginning, in 2021, when I came up here and met the Patriots here, they had a vision. They had a vision. They wanted to have clean, transparent elections. And it's been a joy for me to work alongside them along the way. But it's really, I give them all the credit. They've been working so hard here. And the culmination, I would say, of that, and why I'm so proud to talk about this and why this is such an important message for your state, is that the culmination of that is eventually the Board of Supervisors in your county came to realize what was going on, and they appointed Clint Curtis as your new ROV, and he's stepped in and he's done a fabulous job blocking all the problems that you can have in your elections and making everything transparent. We just witnessed an amazing array of cameras, processes. He walked us through the whole process. The beautiful thing to me about what Clint has done is he has shown that there is no excuse for every ROV, every election official in your state to implement a similar procedure. And so we can actually secure our elections. And in Kim's whole message of taking our power back, that's the key problem that we're really faced. What's happened is our elections have become centrally controlled, and the authority's been taken away from the local ROV. What Clint has shown us, Clint Curtis, your ROV, your election clerk, he's shown that actually there are legal ways for you to take back local control, to have transparency, to make it so that every citizen can look at every ballot and do their own count. And so that restores trust, which should increase turnouts, actually, and it should increase participation when the public can see, oh, I actually trust this. You don't trust the machines? Fine. You can see it on camera. You can decide whether you trust them anymore. All this stuff has become transparent. So what's so exciting to me about today is that we got to witness together with 6 candidates how this can be done, and to show the whole state how it can be done. And over the next several weeks, we're going to have several of these events throughout the state, and the candidates themselves are actually promoting it. So thank you, Clint, for leading the charge. We're proud of you, and I go around the country.
You're good. I just wanted to say 5 of the candidates are standing here. 1 is watching online. Something happened where he couldn't be with us, and then we've got a couple that are paying attention online. Their hearts are with us.
I'm not bad-mouthing the other guys. There's 13 of them. They can't all make it to every event. But we're going to have multiple events, and I imagine there'll be different groups of them everywhere. But what's so exciting to me is they've taken up the mantle. They've taken up the charge. So this isn't just, I'm running for governor, vote for me. It's also,
I understand that this is an issue, and I'm working with the other candidates, and we are all promoting this together. That's very exciting. We're going to take our elections back. We're going to bring them back to local control, and Clint is showing us how. It's perfectly legal. He's already been scoured over by the state, and everything he's doing is perfectly legal. What's your excuse in your county? Why isn't your ROV doing the same thing? And, you know, the excuse might be, well, it's expensive or whatnot, but are your elections worth securing or not? We should never trade transparency and integrity for convenience or money. Our elections are our most important thing. Our ballots, every ballot's paid for with blood. Your constitutional voice is worth fighting for. It's worth paying to have clean elections. So how about if I leave it there, and I'm happy to answer any questions anybody might want to have, but I'm proud of you, Shasta County. I'm also proud to say I was conceived here. my parents were Shasta College students, and so I feel like I'm coming back home. So I'm proud to go around the country telling everybody that this is where I was conceived, also where election integrity strategy was conceived. So well done.
Fantastic.
Yes,
Doug,
not the
Dr.
same
Douglas
one.
E. Frank. All right, good. Thank you, Doug. So good, so good, so good. All right, next up, we're going to bring in our first governor candidate. And I want to say, Kobe Markham, thank you for standing in the gap. Thank you for showing up. And I have to tell y'all, do you know he took his motorcycle up here? Pretty nice ride, Kobe Markham.
Over 500 miles.
Come on in, Kobe Markham.
Kobe Markham. I want to thank all of you for being here today. Thank you for being concerned about election integrity. Thank you for educating yourselves about election integrity. Thank you for holding the ROV accountable, for filing the paperwork that they should file with the appropriate authority. Because all of this, it has nothing to do with political party affiliation. None of it. We all need election integrity. Because as each county has the legal right to manage their own elections, because they can do this, there's no reason for them not to do that. And there may be a point in time where if election fraud is occurring in your favor, you may have less incentive to stop that election fraud. But what happens if the tables get flipped? What happens if the tables get flipped? Your party will never be back in power, ever, in California without election integrity. My name is Kobe J. Markham, M-A-R-C-U-M. Election integrity is my #1 goal. If I were elected and I did only one thing, and somebody saw me at a Dodgers game and said, I know what they mean. They mean election integrity. Because that is what impacts California when I'm 6 feet underground. When we're all gone, we have to have election integrity so that every single person's vote is counted. And I respect the vote, and I want everybody to know that if people, the way that people vote, that they have the right to steer the way that the state is going. They have that right as American citizens, as Californians, and we have to respect that. Thank you for your time today, and I look forward to hearing from my fellow governor candidates and other California candidates. Kobe J. Markham, running for governor. Thank you.
Thank you, Kobe.
Thank you, Kobe. Thank you, Kobe. Election reform. Perfect example. Next up is our governor candidate, Scott Shields. And he has a lovely wife, by the way. She's back there. Stephanie, love her. Scott, come on.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, Scott.
Ditto everything he said. Nothing I can add to that, except I had the pleasure of meeting Dr. Frank and Clint a few months ago. And since then, I've done a little homework myself on this. In my press release in September, I said election reform is one of the 6 issues. I agree with Kobe. It's got to be up there near the top. I've got a couple. Mine are all kind of intertwined there. But election, you can't win an election, and you can't change anything else without having election reform. And I come from a technology background like Clint, so I was able to understand him quite a bit. And one of the things in 2018, I brought back to the Bay Area to form a consumer protection software company. to solve the cryptography solution. And in the garage, we said, well, how are we going to name this? What are we going to do? And VETA was what we framed. Verifiability, integrity, transparency, we heard those words today, and accountability.
Yep.
And that's everything. And so when I learned more about what Clint and you were doing, Dr. Frank, at a separate level, away from software, I identified what you're doing is something that needs to be moved forward on scale. And so how we do that and how we apply it to move it on scale in California, everybody's got ideas on this. I'm going to prioritize it in a loud way. I think it's a solution right now where people will say, well, it's impossible to get to California and reach California. What's the old saying, Doug or Clint? Everything's possible, it may not be probable. And definitely on the timetables. You have to set realistic timetables. I didn't jump in. I apologized for Clint. I told him when I met him I was going to come up right away. I didn't, and there were reasons for that. I needed to do some more vetting on it. I can tell you I'm pretty good at vetting. This effort is worthy of every citizen in California to pay attention to.
Absolutely.
And if you're a decision maker on any party, or you've got the responsibility for free and fair elections in California, I'm going to hold you accountable. I think everybody else is going to do that too. I am one that will be loud. Like I said, the intellectual arguments, they're going to be a lot brighter on me in that. I was never a politician. I haven't studied them all. But I will bark, and I will fight, and I will fight for you, Clint, and I will fight for you to get this passed through. That's all I can say. My name is Scott Shields, shieldsforgovernor.com. I love everybody. It's an I Care campaign. Rich people, poor people, everybody. I care about everybody. It's about solutions. This campaign is not going to be bought. It's going to be who brings solutions to the table that are going to solve the problems. And that's what I'm about. I've had great conversations with everybody behind me. That's what they're about too. Very, very, very good group of people. So whoever you're supporting, it's good stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you, Scott Shields. Thank you so much. And Lewis Terms. Love Lewis when we're talking intelligence and bringing it. The questions, let me tell you, he's already thinking about what he's going to say because he's got a lot of research he's done. That's his background. Lewis Terms.
Lewis Terms.
Well, now I'm on an actual milk crate here, so I don't know if I'll start with my fellow Americans. But what I would say is we have to first and foremost understand that elections are the people's elections. It's not the party's election. It should be absolutely blanketed, blacked out from the parties. The parties are not what's important here. What's important is we, the people, are important. So the idea is you need to have the most transparent and effective elections in the world. We should be leading the planet in elections, not following. There should be zero questions of the integrity of the elections. And therefore, I pushed for a long time, as many of you know. I've even had some words that I would say we need to work on elections. Because without reform, there is zero integrity to the elections whatsoever. And I'd like to thank Clint Curtis because I think he's done a phenomenal job. It's been the shot heard around the world, I think, in Shasta, actually, of what let's say the people of the county of Shasta have done in order to repair the elections. You're on your way. I think there's more work to be done, frankly. But if we're going to have integrity, we have to have reform, and we're well on their way. So what we saw in there was a transparent system that is very important and that works. Now, why is this important to you? Well, it doesn't matter whether you have a D, an R, or an I next to your name. Because I can tell you right now, based on conversations, based on audits and so on and so forth, there's actually Republican elections that were stolen from Democrats in this country now.
100%.
Right? It's a fact. So this is not a political issue, and we need to step outside of our political boxes and say we demand reform in this election. So I know these candidates on here, we're working together, not separately, this is not a me issue, on an actual emergency election reform letter that we are presenting to the right people shortly. It's going to work, it's going to happen. But we have to always remember it's we the people first, and only first. And you know, I really, really appreciate everybody that's not only here, but people that are watching that have been in the fight. I truly believe we the people are the plan, and I'm starting to see it come to fruition. So God bless you. I'm so thankful of what's going on here. My name is Lewis Herm. I'm running for governor.
website, termsforcounty.com. May I have some of that?
Thank you, Louis.
Louis Herbst. All right, next up is Leo Zaki. Leo, so great that you're here. You know, every single one of these candidates are super, like, their schedules are nuts. The fact that they made it happen says something. Leo.
Says a lot about
Leo Zaki.
Well, thank you everybody for taking an interest in this today. It's a very important subject, and it's one of those that we can all say party lines has no place. And it's something that we can all use to coalesce to come together as we the people. You've done a fantastic job here, Clint. This is how we get things moving in the right direction for all of us. We understand that discrepancies exist. They have been confirmed. This should be alarming to all of us that they even exist. To put safety measures in place to ensure that we are all having our voices heard, most importantly, is paramount. Every single person in this state and in this country deserves to have their voice heard. And when you have protocols in place to ensure the safety and security of your election, it will be heard. This state needs to have form in place. It needs to have these chain of custodies in place. And the issue is the current ruling elite that keep all of us down, irrelevant of your party position or your party alignment. We learned today that for a piddly sum of $300,000, you can secure your elections here in Shasta County. And we can repeat that across the state for a small fraction of what our budget is, and it's a one-time purchase. This can be done, but the people in power like the way things are because it keeps them in power. And we are all suffering under their leadership. If you think your life is going well the way it is, I'm happy that you feel that way. But I think for the vast majority of Californians, we are all suffering under the current regimes. We need our voices heard. This gives us our power back. We are here today because we are taking our power back. Let's make that a reality. Let's come together. Let's unite under the banner of doing this for everybody.
Right on.
I'm Leo Zaki. I'm running for governor. You can go to leozaki.com. And thank you again for taking your time and being involved.
Thank you, Leo.
And next up, and he was going to have his tractor here today, just so you know, love him, is Governor candidate David Cullingworth.
Yep. So I'm not a politician, so I'm not going to stand behind a podium. I'm going to talk to you guys directly. So the biggest issue I see, this is fantastic, but it's people that are afraid to vote because they think it's stolen. And it's time that people get involved, come watch this stuff, come see it, and let's restore that to people so people actually get out involved and think that their vote counts. These guys all said everything that is amazing. I'm not going to repeat it, but I just want to say that let's get out and vote. Let's get out and check this out. This is the first time I've ever been to something like this. I came off the farm straight here into a voting thing. You guys can do it too. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Dave.
All right, and next up, I'm actually going to have Clint Curtis come up first. I'm going to have you come up, Clint. I want to acknowledge you, and then I want you to acknowledge your warriors here. Can you do that? Is that possible?
Eric came up from the supervisor candidate. Let him talk.
Okay, can you introduce him? Would that
They're
be
from
possible?
out of area. They're not Shasta County. They're from out of area.
Okay, so you guys are from out of the area. One at a time.
He's a gubernatorial candidate.
You are a gubernatorial.
Bring him up.
Well, how do I not know you?
I don't know.
What is your name?
My name's Patrick Raking.
Yes, come on up, Patrick. It's good to know you. We are inclusive. So I'm going to have you say, okay. It's so good to meet you. Tell me your name one more time.
Patrick M. Rakins Jr.
Patrick, let's give you a couple of minutes. Good to meet you.
Thank you, everybody, for inviting us out here today to go over the backside of the voting, right? To kind of give us an idea how it all works. Awesome. These guys have said it all. You know, as far as what we have to do, Collinberg said it the best. We all have to go out and vote. We have to make sure our vote counts. So, like with your ID, making sure that your ballot's in first. So don't wait till the last minute to vote. If you got the ballot, go vote that day, because that helps, right? Because we always, as I've noticed in the past, Republicans wait till the last minute, and by then it's too late. So, in my opinion, that's something we need to do. But when we do get into office, we need to go to paper ballots, vote on Tuesday, make it a holiday, and voter ID, and we'll be good to go. All right? Patrick M. Rakis Jr., California Governor. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you so much. And we've got somebody here who wants to be able to share. Yes?
Sure.
Come on over real quick. And you've got to refresh me. I was thinking Clint would be introducing you. So refresh me.
Eric Stalter, candidate for Riverside County Supervisor in District 5.
Fantastic.
Yes.
What's right over here?
Okay, well, I don't really have a lot to add. You know, I don't like to cook above medium rare, so I'm going to make it quick. But these guys all said it. You know, it's not a party thing, it's a people thing. You know, let's be responsible. Let's make the systems work for us. And you know, the registration of voters, or the registrar of voters, is controlled by the counties, all 54 counties in the state. So for more candidates like myself, more local candidates, along with our gubernatorial candidates, state legislators and others, all need to go through this, because whether you agree or not, it's information that can build upon what we're doing and make election integrity a real thing, fair and free for all of us. So thank you all for allowing me to be here. Eric Stalter, Riverside County Supervisor, District 5. Thank you.
Thanks, Eric. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And last but not least, we have a very special thank you. Don't go anywhere, though. We have some announcements right afterwards. Clint, you are a warrior. Clint Curtis, RO for Shasta County. Thank you for leading the cause of election transparency and election reform.
Thank everybody for coming. It's really nice. I hope everybody really takes this to heart and actually makes something happen. I've been working on this thing for 25 years, and you go and it'll stop. You go and it'll stop. We passed something. I got rid of I got paper ballots down in Florida in 2004, and 6 months later they passed that, well, we'll keep paper ballots, but we're going to send them to a scanner and you can't count them by hand. So there's always going to be people that are trying to stop the people understanding the agency of their election. With all these guys, I think we got a chance. We got some power here. So I thank everybody for showing up, and we'll see if we get this done.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Honor. So I got to tell you, this is pretty cool. So what we have here in this setup are, we didn't have a podium, but here's what we did have. We had 2 milk crates and a black cover. Does it work for what
It
we need
works.
to do? It works for what we need to do. All right, so I would love to say, first of all, thank you, all of you warriors of Shasta County, for being here right now. For those of you that drove up across the state, thank you for being here. For those of you that are listening in online, who are committed to your vote and your voice being heard, thank you for being present with us right now. A big thank you to our governor candidates that are here putting a stake in the ground to take our California back. And a big thank you to all the people that you don't see that are here, that are part of Take Our California Back. These are the leaders of leaders throughout the state who said, I'm in all the way to the very end to take this beautiful state back. And thank you to God that gives us the strength every day to persevere, to be tenacious, and to remember that we run the race with perseverance marked out for us. We don't just run a race to run, do we? We run a race to win! So let's win like Shasta is winning. Let's support Shasta. Join us tonight. We have an incredible governor forum and debate tonight. You're going to hear from the warriors on every area. Can you imagine if there was transparency in every area? And if there was a solution in every area? We're going to show you how these candidates are committed to taking California back. So tonight, 6 o'clock p.m. is start time. I want y'all to arrive at 5 p.m. You're going to have the opportunity to ask your questions. We're going to have you write your questions down, make them legible, because Doug and I will be reading those questions. And then we're going to do a forum. That way we can make sure your voices are heard and they have an opportunity to bring it and respond. So let me give you the location real quick. So tonight we are at Faith Community Church. That is at 2570 South Bonnie View Road in Reading. So that is at 6 o'clock tonight. My encouragement is be there at 5
Doors
p.m.
open at 5:30.
Thank you. All right.
Doors open
I was
5:30.
corrected. Thank you. Doors open at 5:30, but make sure that you're in line. So that you're in line because you want to fill out those questions so that we get them. Doug and I can go through them real quick, and then we can bring them to the table. Now, last but not least, I want to remind you with the
Take Our California Back movement is about. After 55, you wear some waders. I got mine on. All right, here we go. So the Take Our California Back movement is a faith-inspired grassroots coalition empowering freedom-loving Californians to reform elections, demand transparent and secure voting, reclaim constitutional freedoms, and revive our state's future through God-given potential, family values, and a united action. We, the people, are taking our power back. Join us and join this movement. It is about all of us. We need one another, and it's time for us to unite together. Go to takeourcaliforniaback.com. You want to see the lowdown of the interviews that have been done behind the scenes with the showdown? Go check it out. Takeourcaliforniaback.com. And again, Clint Curtis, Shasta County, God bless you. Thank you so much.
Amen.
Thank you, Kim.
Thank you. All right, so separate from this, and you guys that are filming right now, I would say keep filming. Governor candidates, anybody that would like to be a part of supporting Tina Peters, who is a political prisoner right now. Now this is completely separate from Shasta. This is just what we're doing. I'm pulling these governor candidates. Whoever wants to be a part of this can be a part of this, okay? We have a banner that Thomas put together. It's a 50-foot banner that says tinapeters.us. Now, Tina Peters just had a court hearing yesterday, all right? I don't know about you. I know that woman. I know her heart, and we know what she did was she took a stand for truth, and she is that political prisoner. We're saying no more. She needs to be released. Now, President Trump is working his end. We all know that. And I do believe it's going to happen. We're moments away. But let's take a picture together, and we're going to send it to her to encourage her, to let her know we love her, we believe in her, and we're in the fight with her for election transparency and election reform and the freedom. Okay? All right, let's go. Let's head this way. Thank you, Tom.
That's for all you, not just everybody.
Everybody gets to be a part of it. All of us.
I met a gal about 3 years ago named Rachel Ham, running for Secretary of State on the election integrity platform. However, I co-found the Marin County Election Integrity Committee. Now we got Keith Gibbs running for State Senate, and who's also on the committee, and Karen Savant. They're going to be controlling this area. They're going to be the ones that are going to vote for election integrity. State legislature, so I ask them to support them. Anytime we're going to hold it up, and we're going to get a big job. Need a bunch of people standing behind, hold it up.
Gotta get behind there. Just a thought, guys. Just a thought. There's 2 trees here. If we pivot it over there, you're not going to have any obstruction on this side.
Where do we first go?
Let's go right there. Pivot over here.
Walk over this or walk around?
No, just around it.
Walk around.
You're going to go at an angle.
Whatever works, we can check and we can do it together.
That's the way you want.
No, the lighting's actually pretty good.
Well, the idea is to have it back there. I just think we have it wrong. Turn this way.
Tell me what to do and I'll do it.
Just right there you go.
Louis, we can see everybody.
You're not having any trouble with the sun behind us?
Not really.
Okay.
There's just not a lot of people.
Did everybody we can.
Hey, who wants to join us? So, for those of you who do not know, Tina Peters is a political prisoner. She stood up for election reform. She stood up for transparency. And they basically came and swatted her for standing up for transparency. So the question is, what was Colorado hiding? Well, the proof that she has is the Rosetta Stone of the election fraud. That's why Tina Peters needs to be released. All right, so on 3.
Free Tina Peters.
All right. This is awesome, Tom. Great job. Wow.
Are we going to roll it up now?
We're going to roll it up.
I think so. I'll probably take it to the Sunday Bridge and
Now they're going to go to lunch. Do you want to eat or do you want to just go over there and get it done?
I want to go get it done.
Then let's do it.
Don't you think?
Sure. Do you, should we take both cars over there?
You're amazing.
Bless you.
Thank you. I need someone to take a
Great.
picture across the street.
Are you Mr. Plum?
Yes.
I'm Donna.
Charlie, can you go across the street and take a picture?
I'll take a picture. Well, wait. Charlie? Oh, wait, hold on, Charlie. I'm coming in.
Douglas, march it that way. There you go, nice and tight.
Sir, yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Awesome.
We're done. All right.
You have another one coming? Okay,
I don't know. They said another one.
Tighten it up.
Tighten it up. Suck your guts in.
Thank you. All right, you guys hang on. Let's get it.
Roll
Hold on. Let's get it here. Okay, we're live. This is Free Tina Peters, guys. Check it out. FreeTinaPeters.us. Okay, perfect.
Star.
She is a star.
She's a star. We love you, Tina.
We love you, Tina. All right, fantastic. All right, guys. All right, we are going to close it up. All right, so you got a good sense of what we're doing with the Take Our California Back movement. Our governor candidates, our leaders from across the state, we're so grateful for every one of you that have stood in the gap right now with us. So I'll see you tonight. We will be here, same place at 6 p.m. We're hoping that we've got good Wi-Fi to make that happen. If not, we'll record. But I want you just to plan to be here. Same link. You can go to rumble.com/take your power back show /live. That's rumble.com/take your power back show /live. That way you can see us live. So I'm standing for election transparency and election reform. We're taking our California back. Boom, baby, boom, baby, boom. God bless you guys. I'll see you tonight.